Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about 8 winter driving safety tips. In this video, I'll be going over 8 simple safety tips that will allow you to be safer when you're driving in the winter. Without further ado, let's get right to it. Tip number 1 is to get winter tires. Now, so many people think that winter tires are unnecessary. Now, I live in a place where we get some pretty heavy snow in the winter, and I can tell you that winter tires are pretty much absolutely necessary. The tread in winter tires, the rubber compound in winter tires, all of the things about winter tires make them more effective when driving in the snow than summer tires and all-season tires. I would recommend getting winter tires because they greatly increase the level of safety that you will experience and exhibit as a driver in the winter. That means that you'll be safer for your sake and for the sake of everyone else around you, because if you spin out, it's not just you that gets injured, it's the other cars and pedestrians around you. So I would say tip number 1 is get winter tires. They will greatly help with regards to keeping you safe and decreasing the likelihood of you losing control of your car in the winter. All right, tip number 2, have an emergency kit in your trunk. Now, you can buy an emergency kit that's already made, or you can make your own. Now, there are many things that you should keep in a winter emergency kit, but here are a few, and it's not limited to these. These are just a few simple ideas. If you want to start your emergency kit, you can put something inside of it like a blanket, like booster cables, an ice scraper, and things like that, okay? You want to get all of the things that you might need in a winter emergency situation, and things that will keep you comfortable and safe. So just think about it. I mean, like I said, you can also buy an emergency kit and add your own things, and that's what I would recommend. Buy a prefabricated winter emergency kit, auto emergency kit, whatever you want to call it, and then add in some additional stuff, because the emergency kit that you buy might not come with a thick blanket. It might come with a thin blanket, so you might want to add in a thick blanket, a pair of gloves, a bigger ice scraper, a snow brush, and so forth, okay? Tip number 3 is to just drive slower. Now, here's the thing. The speed limits on the roads are posted there because that's what the people who created the speed limits have deemed to be a safe speed to drive when the road conditions are ideal. That means that if you're driving on a street where the speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour, that means that they have figured that it's pretty safe to drive at 50 kilometers an hour on dry roads. When it's snowing, you should no longer be driving at 50 kilometers an hour. Drive slower, okay? When you're driving slower, there's a smaller chance of you losing control when you're driving in the winter, in the snow, when there's water on the ground because the snow has melted, or when there's ice on the ground. So just slow down. It's as simple as that. Whatever your speed is, then slow it down, and automatically you're going to be much safer. And that's why I consider this to be one of the most crucial winter driving safety tips in this video. Tip number 4, leave earlier. Now, this goes hand in hand with driving slower. If you leave earlier, you're not going to feel as rushed, and therefore you're not going to be as prone to making mistakes. Now, spinouts happen and accidents are more likely to happen when you're in a rush than when you have a lot of time on your hands. So with that being said, I would recommend leaving earlier. If you leave at 7 o'clock to get to work, leave at 6:50 or 6:45. Like, leave 10 to 15 minutes earlier or half an hour earlier, whatever works for you, okay? If you leave earlier, it's going to allow you to not be in a rush. And therefore, when you're not in a rush, you're going to drive slower. You're not going to make hasty decisions. And therefore, it's going to give you a smaller chance of spinning out, losing control, getting into an accident in the winter time. Tip number 5 is to clean your car completely before leaving. Now, I've seen this happen, or I've seen the opposite of this happen so many times. People brush off their front windshield and their rear windshield, and all of a sudden they think they're good to go. The top of the car is filled with snow, the hood is filled with snow, and with all of that being said, you know, when you're driving and that snow flies off, not only is it hindering your ability to see, but it's also flying off and you know, to the people behind you, and it's hindering their ability to see and the people beside you. So with all that being said, clean your car completely. Also, make sure that you scrape all of the ice off of the windshields and the windows and the mirrors, okay? You don't want to be driving and then, you know, you scrape just a little pathway for you to see, and then you're driving with this small vision. It's the equivalent to driving like this, okay? You don't want to drive like that. So why would you drive when you have only scraped your windshield just that little amount, okay? Continuing on, tip number 6 is to learn how to control a car in a skid. Now, hopefully you never have to experience a skid when you're driving in the winter, but you know what? You might experience a skid. So it's better to learn how to control a car. Now, I would recommend doing some research and studying and learning what to do in the event of a skid. And then go to an empty parking lot and maybe practice those maneuvers. Now, I'm not saying don't put yourself into a skid, because if you've never done it before, it might, be a bad decision. But just practice. Like, imagine you go into a skid, what would you do? Do it in an empty parking lot so that there's no cars and no pedestrians around. Or even if you don't want to do that, just think about what you would do. Go through scenarios in your mind and think about what you would do in a skid. If you were turning to the left and you started skidding, what would you do? If you're turning to the right and you started skidding, what would you do? Tip number 7 is learn about ABS braking. Now, there's a good chance that your car is equipped with ABS braking. Now, obviously, if your car isn't equipped with ABS braking, then you shouldn't learn about it. Or you should just to know about it, but it wouldn't be as crucial. But if your car is equipped with ABS braking, then I would recommend learning about how it works. And also, like I said, go to a parking lot, an empty parking lot, and just experiment with the ABS brakes in a very safe situation and just figure out how they work. Because ABS braking has a very crucial role with regards to driving in the snow. So just learn how they work and learn how to use them effectively to help you keep control when driving in the snow. And last but not least, tip number 8 is learn how to handle icy patches. Now, just like a skid, I hope that you never have to encounter an icy patch while you're driving, because it can be very scary and very dangerous. But I would rather you be prepared for handling an icy patch than just being hopeful that you don't encounter one. So just learn about what you should do when you encounter an icy patch, and then just think about what you would do in every situation. This way, if you ever encounter the actual situation, you've gone over it in your head multiple times and you'll know exactly what to do. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over 8 winter driving safety tips. They're 8 tips to keep you safe when driving in the winter. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.